everybody. Happy Wednesday and happy Inauguration Day. Very exciting day today. Definitely one worth celebrating. But right now we're talking all about sports news. We're getting into some more Kyrie Irving rumors. We're also talking about Patrick Mahomes. But before we do all that, subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Hey everybody, I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Brett. You guys can follow me on social media @IamBrittJohnson.
Okay, you guys, well, let's get right into it. Let's talk about this first Kyrie Irving story here. So yesterday we told you how Kyrie spoke to the media for the first time in a while. He opened up about how he struggles to balance everything and was just dealing with personal and family issues, which is why he decided to take that personal leave of absence. He's returning to the court tonight against the Cavs, but people are still theorizing about why he was out, even though he came out and told us exactly why he was out. According to Sportsnet New York, Kyrie was dealing with more than just personal and family issues. They said, quote, various reports have stated that he was upset over the riots at the Capitol building on January 6th. However, those familiar with Irving's thinking said that the news that the Kenosha police officer who shot Jacob Blake won't be facing criminal charges factored into his absence. That event, more so than the riots at the Capitol building, contributed to Irving being away from the club, those people say. So that's completely understandable, and we also talked about how we thought that that might be part of the reason why he was taking some time away, because he needed to process. We know that he is deeply affected by racism and social justice issues that our country is currently facing. He's been very vocal about the ways that we need to address those and handle those. But he also was very clear in telling us that he was dealing with some of his own things and some family things. And I guess, I don't know why people are even trying to dive deeper into it. I don't know why we're trying to dissect it anymore. So let's talk to you first, Britt. Kyrie has already come out and explained why he was absent. Do we need to dive deeper into his reasoning for taking time away from basketball?
I just want to sit like Kyrie did when he did his little thing yesterday, because it's just so, this is why Kyrie is so annoyed and doesn't want to talk, because then he does talk and y'all still want to ask more questions, or, oh, I don't know if that's the real answer, let's dive a little deeper. Like, stop, leave my brother alone. Like, he said what y'all wanted to hear. He spent a good 2 minutes explaining it and told y'all exactly what it was. Even this is why not only him but other athletes get annoyed, because it's like, okay, y'all begged me to talk to the media. I really just want to play basketball and do whatever else I'm doing and deal with my family stuff or whatever. But y'all want to hear from me. I'm going to tell y'all. Told them, and now they're still asking questions and still saying stuff. And this goes back, me and we talked about it before, when literally athletes have answered the same question a million times and then the reporter still asks them the same exact thing all the time. I get it. It's annoying. Like, people keep answering the same thing. Like, go back and watch my interview I did yesterday, because I said the same thing. Like, what else what different do they want from him? Like they want to know when he pooped every single day? Like, are his bowels clear? Like, what do they want to know? Like, leave him alone. Like, he's gotten so deep into stuff. Like, and he, more than we even needed to know. He talked about his mental state, like everything like that, not actually what he was physically doing. He talked even deeper about how he emotionally was feeling or whatever. Like, what more do you want? Like, I just don't get it. Like, people are so annoying, and this is why he didn't want to speak in the first place, because when you do speak, people now want to just know more and more and get deeper and deeper, and they have to feel like they have to know every single layer of the onion that is Kyrie. Like, leave him alone.
Right.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This supports the reason he decided to just avoid the media altogether, because the second he does, then people are still going to keep talking. But I think one thing we can realize is that the media, fans, analysts, they're going to talk no matter what. Whether Kyrie's talking or not, they're going to talk. And I guess that's a frustrating part about being a public figure or a top athlete in the limelight. Jackie, let's talk to you now. Why do you think it's so hard for fans, the media, and analysts to accept that he was out just dealing with personal issues? And does this make you understand even more why Kyrie does not want to speak to the media anymore?
I've been on the fence this whole time, but I think this is very hypocritical because a lot of these people that are speculating and not believing what he said are the same people that are going to be like, oh, just shut up and dribble. So if you don't want to know what's going on, if you want him to just be quiet when he tells you, then how about you be quiet? How about you do exactly what you would want them to do? And you say less. I mean, the man told you what he wanted. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. It doesn't matter if there's something more to the story. If there's something more to the story, then it's a personal something, and he does not have to share that personal something. He came out because he did exactly what I wanted him to do for exactly the reasons I wanted him to do it. Let me give y'all something because y'all won't shut the hell up. And so let me just tell y'all what's going on. So he comes out, he does it, and then just like Britt said, now you still won't shut the hell up? No, this doesn't make an ounce of sense. It is so frustrating, and at this point I just want him to beast mode it and just be like, I'm here just so I won't get fined from now on because this is ridiculous. I'm sharing a tidbit of my life with you. I am never, in any stretch of imagination, I could end up being the biggest journalist in the world. You are never going to know all of my personal life. It's not going to happen. I am not giving it to you. It's none of your damn business. If you are not in my personal circle, you don't need to know. I'm going to give you what I want you to have, and that's it, and that's all. And if you can't accept that as a fact of life, then you need another job because this is ridiculous. I just don't like how they're digging into him this way. And then I'm telling you, in a couple of days, they're going to be like, oh, well, if he's played well, they're going to be like, oh, this is because of the time off he took. Now he's mentally right. If he doesn't play well, they're going to say, oh, maybe he needs more time off. Oh, maybe the ways of the world are still affecting him. There's no win in this for Kyrie. And I would literally just be like, I'm beast mode right now. I'm just here so that I don't get fined. I ain't got nothing else to say to y'all. This is stupid.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Ooh, it's like a weird echo on my end. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, the fumble ghost is back apparently. But to your question, kind of that you asked, Jackie, I think the reason why people don't want to just take that as the answer, like it has to be something so much bigger, is because we're just starting to see a moment where we're actually taking their mental into consideration and taking time off for it. Like we all remember when Isaiah Thomas decided to not play, decided to play in the game after his sister died. He literally flew on the team's private jet to go to his sister's funeral and was back in time for the game and played the game. So Jordan, after his dad died, like everybody was like, why is Michael not wanting to play anymore? Like his dad just died. What's the big deal? It's basketball. Everybody has to just put, like, we've seen so many times the athlete put the sport before anything else that we don't understand these moments sometimes. It's like his mental, like, why, okay, but still play the game. Like, we need to watch you play. So it's our fun and entertain your mental capacity or whatever. And I think so many times because we've seen so many athletes play like after their dad died or after, they lost a sibling or something like that, we don't understand this new era of, and honestly, Kyrie being one of the first guys to be like that, where he's like, no, I need to step in. Paul George, he was going through his mental stuff. No, I still got to play, even though I'm going to suck. People are going to talk about me and make fun of me or whatever, but I still have to play this game because people aren't going to understand me taking a game off for any mental issues. Like, that just doesn't happen in sports. Everybody in sports just doesn't has the mental, like, strongness of Jesus Christ or something, like everybody puts these athletes in this world where they're these superhuman beings to where they don't get to they don't get to feel certain things. And now we're seeing Kyrie, who is doing that and taking his health and his mental, health more importantly. I don't know how to react to that.
Mm-hmm. I think
winning that because I'll never forget when Isaiah was crying on the sideline and we were I felt like the whole world's heart was pouring out to him, and then it was either I think it was Charles Barkley that was like, oh, it's not a good look if he can't play this game and not cry, he shouldn't be out there.
Right.
So there's no in this. So that's what I'm saying. I feel my heart goes out. If he didn't
play, people would have been like, why is he not playing?
Yeah. No at all, and it's just unfortunate. And I'm with you, Britt. I just want to be like Kyrie and be like, okay, what is it? What y'all got for me?
Yeah, I think that one thing that I'm liking about basketball and what we're seeing, is like Paul George was talking about how he was struggling with his mental health in the bubble, and it seems like it's becoming a little bit more accepted for these athletes to actually show that they are human and they have their bad days or their bad weeks, and I think that that's super helpful. Although things are not perfect yet, I feel like the ball is kind of rolling in that direction. At least it seems like it, because they're being a little bit more open about speaking up about the different challenges that they're facing personally. Now let's dive into an athlete who is facing his own set of physical challenges. It's Patrick Mahomes. So he was diagnosed with a concussion, and he's also dealing with a foot injury that he suffered during the game against the Cleveland Browns. So he still remains in the NFL's concussion protocol, but reportedly he has cleared big steps. ESPN reported that there's hope and optimism for his status for Sunday's game, and he's expected to practice with the team today. Chiefs coach Andy Reid told reporters on Sunday, quote, "He's doing great right now," which is a real positive as we looked at this, passed all the deals that he needed to pass, so we'll see where it goes from here. So he could be back up and running. I think it's always scary when a football player has a concussion like that. Happens all the time. But Jackie, I want to go to you first. Do you think it's the safest thing to do for the Chiefs to assume that Chad Henne will start, or do you think they'll be starting Patrick Mahomes?
I think you always err on the side of caution. And Chad Henne, he went out there and he did the damn thing in Patrick Mahomes' absence on that first possession when we thought that he was going to play it safe. They went for broke, got that first down. So he's proven that he can carry the team if need be. My concern is, and we've seen this time and time again, we've talked about this time and time again. My concern is this is a big game for them that they'll rush him back. And I don't know if you guys saw that game, but when Patrick Mahomes got up from that hit, he did not know what year it was. He didn't know where he was, and that's I haven't seen somebody be that shook that bad in a minute. So I would tell them to err on the side of caution, because that was troubling. He had struggled to get up, and like I said, when he got up, he didn't know where he was. That's not something that you want to rush back from, because we are talking about your brain here. We know what CTE is, and we know how it impacts them in their future. So I just want them to err on the side of caution. Not so much just so Chad can get in there, but to make sure that Patrick can be okay long term. That hit was too much. And so you need to err on the side of caution. If he is cleared, medically cleared, and I'm not even talking about team doctors, because we also know team doctors puncture Tyrod's lungs. So let's get an outside opinion. And if we can get an outside opinion that says, hey, you're clear, you don't have a concussion anymore. And I mean 100%, not like you have a little bit of a concussion. No baby concussions, nothing. If you get that, then okay, play. But I think that, and that's not the spirit that's usually instilled in a lot of these athletes. The spirit that's instilled is like, play, shake it off. You just got your bell rung, get back out there, shake that off, make sure you're okay. And if you miss this game, you just miss this game. And if they don't go to the big show because of that, that's fine. But your long-term health, to me, is way more important.
Oh, yeah, and I feel like the Chiefs would have to agree with that, considering Mahomes has that massive, massive contract with them. So it's in their best interest to keep him safe and healthy, even if it means sacrificing this season. So, Britt, let's talk to you. Do you think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the go-to guy? And if not, do the Chiefs need to be worried?
Okay. Buffalo Bills have a better defense that I personally think than the Chiefs. So just in general, it's probably going to be a lower scoring game, which means that is a good thing for the Chiefs. They have a really good run game, personally think. I think they can just put Chad in, and like they said last week, anything's possible. And they can just go off of, just running the ball more than they did. And I think they would be pretty decent at that. And I think it would be fine to do that. Do I think they're going to do that? No, I think Patrick Mahomes is going to play. I think they're going to go into the game, or even maybe day of, say that Chad's playing just to kind of throw off the Buffalo Bills. But I think that Patrick Mahomes will be in the game. Maybe he might not even start, but like the second that something starts going off a little bit, they're going to throw him into the game, whether they personally believe that they are ready or not, especially Andy Reid's been in the league a long time. He doesn't have many more chances, I think, as a head coach. I remember when he got fired from the Eagles, that was like 8 years ago. And at that time, he had already been a head coach for 14 seasons. So he's been in the league for a long time. I don't see him coaching much longer. I think for his personal career, he's going to want to win another championship. I just believe that. Like, I don't think that they're thinking that long to where a concussion is going to affect him that much to where he will then not be able to play for a whole entire season or something like that. Okay, well, it's the end of the season anyway. Let's just throw him in, and then he has 7 months, 8 months to rest after this. So let's just take it. It's not like it's an ACL tear or something crazy like that. It's concussion. There's been tons of players in the NFL who have played multiple seasons and games with concussions, and which is why we have CTE now. I don't think the NFL cares what happens to the players after their career, because they know the concussions, people can get through seasons with concussions. People many times before. LT said he had a concussion almost every single game and had, honestly, one of the best linebackers of all time, you know? So not there about what happens after they're done playing. And because we've seen many times before, players can play and still have concussions and still have very successful seasons and careers, because NFL has done it for years and years. I don't think that they're that worried about it. So if they need to put him in, they're going to put him in. I don't think they're going to start him, but I think that if they get in trouble, they're going to play him for sure. And I don't think they care.
Wow. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, you guys. But for now, he is cleared to practice and, likely will be appearing in the game. So we'll be watching to see what goes down. But we're going to wrap up Need to Know News now. So, Jackie, can you take us into the post-up?
Yes, I am excited for this post-up, guys. I think some of you guys in the chat, I saw that you guys are looking for this. This is a moment for me, because our producer sent this to me and I was like, yo, this is so monumental. You guys know I am not an optimist. I am a realist. I look at the situation for what it is, and then I use kind of clues to gauge how it might go forward. Britt and Devin are optimists, and I love them for that. That's not me. But after seeing this video, you guys, this is such a beautiful tribute. I was moved. I even had to text my producer, like, oh my God, what is this? What coming from my eyes? This video, to me, is such a representation. Why representation matters. It is a beautiful tribute. If you're not teary-eyed after this, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just emotional today. But the Warriors put this together for our new vice president. It's the closest I've been to being an optimist because of this video. So shouts out to the Warriors for paying tribute to our new vice president. Take a look.
My name is Steph. I'm from Oakland. I like that Kamala's from Oakland too. I love that Kamala looks like me and I can do anything.
I am so proud to be a daughter of Oakland, California. Every little girl watching tonight sees that this is a country of possibilities. And to the children of our country, regardless of your gender, our country has sent you a clear message. Dream with ambition, lead with conviction, and see yourselves in a way that others may not, simply because they've never seen it before. But know that we will applaud you every step of the way.
Madam Vice President. I'm not saying you gotta put this up in your office at the White House, but it'd probably be a good idea. Congratulations, blazing your own path. We're all rooting and supporting you the whole way.
Oh, this means so much to me. You guys, I will proudly display this in the office of the Vice President of the United States, an office I am about to occupy. And I cannot thank you enough, and you always bring such joy and pride to me as a daughter of Oakland. Be well, be safe, and this is really so very special. So thank you all, and I hope to see you soon. Go Warriors! While I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
So yeah, Full body chills is right, Devin. I saw you in the chat. That is the most inspirational thing I've seen in a long time, and I love that they had Stephen Curry in there because you just can't hate on that man, and I love the MVP. So that was beautiful. So that's how I want to start Post Up from now on. I'm sure I won't get to do that all the time, but that's how I want to start. All kinds of inspiration from now on when we start this Post Up. That was beautiful. But let's get to some shade now, because I try not to clown people on their style because I'm a tomboy and people have been clowning me on my style for my whole entire life. I try not to clown people on their style, but I have to admit, I saw this last night on Twitter and I was like, Hassan Whiteside is not that guy. He's definitely going to throw some clowns in. I think Jabari's taste in cars is actually pretty fly, but Hassan does not agree. Take a look at this.
He's getting out of this Dr. Seuss Monopoly ass car. Hold on, man. That's Jabari's joke. Oh, man. Cat in the Hat. Where you get that from? Cat in the Hat? That shit fuchsia. Fuchsia. My dog, Jabari. Hey, Jabari, you a trendsetter, man. Trendsetter.
I love the car, but I love old school cars. I love this so much. But what I didn't like is Hassan immediately got some shade for calling it a Cat in the Hat car. This guy on Twitter was like, a cat in the hat isn't a place. That's the kind of ball IQ mistake that keeps Whiteside from being a great player. Stop it right now. And then this other person was like, beautiful car and worth more than whatever. Hassan. Why is this? Why? It was a joke, you guys. It was a joke. Players joke with each other all the time. I thought this was just a fun thing. We didn't say anything crazy when we was clowning, when Trez was clowning AD about his car. Y'all just are petty. Petty. I actually like the car. Do you like the car? Or is that just, again, me and my weird style?
Who did you ask?
You.
Me? Oh. I'm not like a big car person. I mean, I think it's okay, but I think if I had a lot of money, I would want something different. I would not choose this for myself, but I'm not going to sit there and hate on it because I don't even know enough about cars to have anything intelligent to say, so it's fine.
Yeah, am I by myself again? Britt, do you like the car? I like the old school cars.
I'm more of like a Shelby Mustang kind of girl, you know, like an old school car. But I like old school, like muscle cars, not like hearse looking cars. To me, it looks like a hearse. So, I mean, this definitely isn't his only car. He's rich. He has multiple cars. So if this wants to be his Sunday car so he can, you know, run through red lights because he's carrying a dead body in the back, go do your thing, my guy.
I like the car just because it's so odd. My goal in life is to have a Corvette for every year. The body style change, so that's my goal in life, but that's an expensive goal. So, you know, girl can dream though. But let's move on to this next one because, you know, Bill Belichick has had a girlfriend for a long time. Her name is Linda Holliday. I'm trying to understand her full thought process here. She was on IG and she made a comment and basically was reflecting on the last year, like I think a lot of us has. And she says, as I reflect on the past year, I want to look at all the time of growth and gratitude and strength and blah, 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 blah. I can't tell you what the rest of it said because this has since been deleted from her Instagram. But whatever she said, I'm assuming Bill Belichick was in there somewhere because a fan responded and said, too bad Bill let Tom go. Of course, Tom Brady. So she responds with, and you have all the answers, evidently. Tom didn't score last night, not once. Defense won that game. Were you even watching? I'm happy for Tom's career. Why can't you be? First of all, as a Saints fan, were you watching the game? Because Tom Brady threw 2 touchdowns again. Stop. I was so mad when I saw this. I'm like, girl, bye. I wish that Tom Brady hadn't scored because then maybe we could have won. But whatever. I didn't really understand what she was getting at with that. But it pissed me off a little bit because it grudged up the fact that we lost once again. So then I was like, well, let me go to her Instagram and figure out what she's talking about. That's where I discovered that she's deleted this and instead replaced it with this and said, my account will be going private in the next few hours. I am exhausted by the number of trolls and cruel people who have hammered my social media accounts recently. I'm not embarrassed by anything that I've said. In fact, several news outlets understood what I meant about defense TDs validated it, but I'm tired of trolls. I'm not sure when it became okay to verbally abuse and harass people on social media. I look forward to staying connected with my personal friends. Girl, they probably came for you because you said Tom Brady didn't score no touchdowns. There was probably Saints fans. So I don't really understand why she feels like that there are several media outlets that validated her tirade on Tom Brady not scoring. I would love to see what those are, because those people need to be fired. Definitely wasn't us, because we actually watched the game. I don't know. I don't know what else to say.
I love how she said, like, oh, I don't know when it's okay to like verbally abuse people on social media after she abused people on social media. Like, she went first. Like, it was you first, sis. People came for you after you tried to say something first. Like, you can't then go like cry about it after.
I mean, like, girl, you're Belichick's girlfriend. Just shush. That's all I gotta say. With that was just a lot. Go ahead. What was you gonna say, Britt? Zip it.
No, I was just telling her, zip it. Just zip it. Have you ever seen what's that movie? Zip it.
Oh, all right. Let me move on. You and Britt will do this all day. Y'all know what happens when we get on a little tangent like that. So it's time for us to move on to this one, because you know how the rumors always fly. It doesn't matter if it's a like on social media, but if you show up someplace, you know the rumors is about to fly. So take a look at this picture. And where do y'all think this is at? That is your boy Deshaun. Y'all see KD in the back on the big screen? He is at a Nets game, okay? So who was it? Clutch Sports posted an article that said that Deshaun had said that he would only stay with Houston if the owner fired himself, which we know that that's not going to happen. And then this picture starts circulating, and then everybody and their mama starts making conjecture about what it means. Look, by the way, Deshaun Watson was at the Nets game. Implications are he could be a Jet. If that happens, the Giants become even more irrelevant. Okay, let's move on to the next one, because I'm telling you, it was rapid fire on these speculation rumors. So I just heard Watson was at the Brooklyn Nets game yesterday. Jets, you can do this, boys. All right, okay. I don't know how I feel about this. Just, it seems like it might be a thing. I saw some people in the chat said Deshaun Watson to Denver. That would be a dope fit for him, but John Elway still runs that organization, so I'm going to vote no on that. But, Britt, I'm going to go to you. Do you think these are just strictly rumors, or could this possibly be something that's in the works behind the scenes? Because you said usually when there's social media smoke, sometimes there's fire. So what do you think?
Listen, it came to me, Jackie, because this is not free agency. The smoke happens when it's free agency and players are deciding they want to go. Deshaun Watson ain't got no decision to make on where he wants to go. He just signed a new contract this very last year. So the time to trade him, they are going to trade him to whatever team they want to trade him to. The only reason why I believe he was at these games is because guess what? He's friend Harden, who used to play for the Houston Rockets. Now he's playing for the Brooklyn Nets. And guess what? Deshaun is in his offseason. Why not go to New York for a while instead of hanging out in Houston? I'm going to go see my boy. My boy just got me a suite. I'm going to go watch him play. Like, no, this has no anything connected to it at all. He could randomly, okay, if it's a good Jet still, I don't know, because I feel like the Jets already traded all of their plausible assets that would be for the time anyway, so I don't think they could make a trade work unless they're willing to give up a bunch of draft picks, including one of their top draft picks that they have in this upcoming draft, in order to get Deshaun Watson. But other than that, no. And he doesn't have a say-so in this battle anyway, so he can very well find a team. He could be the backup to Trevor Lawrence once Trevor Lawrence signs with Jacksonville Jags and Urban Meyer's the head coach over there, which I think will be a great pro over there, but I don't see Deshaun Watson wanting to be a backup quarterback, but that's what it's going to end up being. But yeah, I don't think this has anything. It is not free agency. If it is free agency, yes, I could see that being one of the little pieces to the puzzle that's connecting, but he ain't got a decision that needs to be made.
All right. Well, Britt has spoken, and besides, there's no real estate involved. That was the telltale sign. Britt said if there was some real estate involved, then maybe, and no real estate leases or purchases has happened in this situation. So move on. It's just rumors, guys. That's it. That's all. Britt's going to love this next one because y'all know I do not like, and neither does Britt, don't like Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend. She's too mouthy. I don't like her. She's a lot. But I'm starting to understand how Patrick ended up attracted to her because I feel the same way now about Patrick's mama. And men tend to date women that are kind of like their mama. So I want y'all to look at this nonsense that she posted. She said, number 51, evil never wins. Love my Chiefs. Now, 51 is Mac Wilson. So he took the high road. He did the when they go low, you go high thing, that Michelle taught us. And he goes, no disrespect, Mom. I'm just playing hard. This is a dangerous game we play, and we take risks every time we set foot on the field. I'm happy Pat is okay. But mind you, I've never been a dirty player. I just want to win and be great like your son. That was the most respectful thing to somebody calling you evil, and it was a clean hit. He had nothing to apologize for. I thought that was the most tasteful response. She did respond back to him, too, but she didn't say, hey, sorry for calling you evil. She said, thanks. I know every player was out there playing their best. This mama bear was just having a hard time watching it. It hurts me as a parent. Is all appreciate your kind words. No, girl, you're supposed to say you're right. I'm sorry. I overreacted as a mama bear. There should have been some sort of I'm sorry in there. I don't like it. Devin, I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go to Britt. Am I tripping? Is she just have left that last little response back alone? Was that even necessary?
I mean, I don't know what. I understand that that's her son, but she should not be out there tweeting these kinds of things. That was a very strong word to use. Evil. I mean, it's just come on, lady. This is football. Your son is a football star. Things are going to happen. If that were my mom and she was coming into the chat and being like, Jackie, how dare you? I would be like, Mom, stop it. Get off the computer. It's just weird to me that she would even do that. So I cannot get behind this.
Britt, do you now understand why he likes his girlfriend the way that he does?
Yeah, I mean, I already peeped the beef that I would have had with Mama Mahomes had I been dating Patrick Mahomes. So I understand why that relationship did not work out. But the nerd soul said it best, hashtag Karen don't apologize, which is true. Karens don't ever apologize, and they put all this evil out into the world and tarnish people's names and don't apologize for the fact after. You decided to change from a quarterback to a running back during that play, and he was fair game on getting hit the way he got hit. So that's what it is. That's football. So take your son playing football, then maybe you should get him to. You should have gotten him to play baseball or something like your husband did. I don't know, but you don't cover other players who just randomly hurt your son. Your son is a grown man. Leave that up to Brittany to come up with those things and say whatever she wants to say about her man. Mama, just sit back. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel if my mama even had a Twitter or Instagram. I don't know. My dad has Instagram, and he don't post nothing. He just be liking my stuff. I'm like, get off of here, Dad. You're too old.
That is hilarious. All right. Yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Mama Mahomes needs to do better. And Nerd Soul has labeled you a Karen, so do better. But if you haven't heard the news, Phillip Rivers has officially retired. And I love how Bleacher Report has reported this. Go over to our Instagram page, which is at the Fumble Sports, and see the whole gridiron cartoon to pay tribute to him that they did. But this tweet in particular did not go over well. It says, Phillip Rivers is retiring after 17 seasons per whoever. It's just time. It's just right. That's what Phillip Rivers said. And then Bleacher Report said, salute to a legend. It is that phrase that did not go over well, the salute to a legend. And I mean, the rapid fires. I'm only going to pick this one because she at least said it without the spelling errors. She says, he's not a legend. Y'all throw that word around crazy. He was an above average quarterback who could never get the job done. If someone retires or dies, y'all go gas. Y'all love to gas him. I agree with that. Phillip Rivers is a cool dude. He's a decent quarterback, but She's absolutely right. He could never get the big show done. I'm not going to call him a legend. I'm not calling this man a legend. I am not calling this man a legend. I'm going to call him a very likable guy who's dealt a whole bunch of bad hands. But if we're not calling Tony Romo a legend after all the stuff that man had to endure, I am damn sure not going to call Philip Rivers.
I'm not calling Tony Romo a legend because I'm a Cowboys fan. But I mean, Philip Rivers had like a great career, and I honestly want to say he probably has one of the more squeaky clean careers from a football player. Like, he married his woman, had like a trough of children, had a bunch of kids, and like never had any scandals attached to his name, and played, besides this last year, played his entire career and was part of that Eli Manning Chargers Giants trade that sent Eli Manning to the Giants and Philip Rivers to Chargers. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, I don't think he's going to like get like a second or third. I think he's going to be a first ballot. Like, and he's probably like a legend for the Chargers. Like, he's been their quarterback for like over a decade and a half. He's been there for like, I think he got drafted in like 04, 05 or something. Like, he's been there for a long time. So I think for the Chargers, that is a Charger legend. Like, what other Chargers quarterback or many players can you even name? I think for the Chargers, like, that's, so definitely thinks he's a legend because she's a Chargers fan. Devin, what do you think? Is he a legend?
Yeah, I got to call on me. I got to represent for the Chargers fans.
Oldest fan I've ever known, so.
Legend is the debate, Devin. Legend.
You cut out when you said that, but I mean, I think that Britt's right. I think that he is a Chargers legend. I wouldn't say that he's necessarily an NFL legend, but yes, I think that Chargers fans, for those of us that still do exist, we appreciate him, and I think that he is a legend for us. But I understand that he wouldn't be involved in other conversations about legendary NFL players.
So maybe that person was a Chargers fan.
Yeah.
Maybe the person who works at Bleacher Report who wrote that was a Chargers fan.
Yeah.
But we just have to have a mini what we not going to do. What we not going to do is say Philip Rivers is some sort of like NFL legend. My kids are not going to be talking about Philip Rivers.
Do you think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, though?
I think he is, just given the amount of time that he was in the NFL. And like you said, I'm not going to say he wasn't. We all know he was dealt a bad hand.
He's not going to make one of the next time in 2030 when they do the 100 greatest of the era or whatever. He's not going to make that list. No. Mm-mm. So yeah, I think just because like being in Cali and stuff, and I know a lot about career, I think that I mean, everybody knows Philip Rivers, and then him and Antonio Gates and like their bond with like the tight end and quarterback bond is something now with like Lamar Jackson and his tight ends and stuff. So I guess this is a nostalgic moment that I see for Philip Rivers.
Not either. I'm not going to compare Lamar Jackson and Philip Rivers. I think that's
different. No, but I'm just saying, starting Tony Romo did a lot too with Jason Witten. Like there's only very few quarterbacks that had a better connection with their tight end than they did with their receivers, and that's what Lamar Jackson does now. Lamar Jackson is better throwing to his tight ends than he is to his receivers. So that's the only thing I'm saying is like Philip Rivers was one of the first quarterbacks that kind of started that tight end quarterback bond that Lamar Jackson now does. But no, of course I'm not comparing the two. Lamar Jackson is going to be a legend, I think.
I saw in the chat ask who I thought was a legend outside of LeBron James. As far as quarterbacks, I would go with obviously Tom Brady, even though I don't like him. He's definitely a legend. Aaron Rodgers is a legend.
Peyton Manning, legend.
Manning is definitely a legend. I followed him throughout his college career, to Colts, to the Broncos, everything. As much as I can't stand John Elway, John Elway's probably a legend. Philip Rivers is a cool guy. I definitely wish him all the best. I think he's a Hall of Famer for sure, but just a legend phrase. But we're just gonna move on because it is about that time. Now, let me tell you guys this, because this next one, I just really love to see something like this, because for those of us who ran track, I ran track. Now I'm gonna tell you how this goes. You have your kind of fast girl lead off, and then you got your stupid fast girl at the end, and then you put the girls that probably your squad is kind of light, in the middle, and that's what you do. And I'm gonna tell you right now that Zaya Holman is stupid dumb fast, because when you see this video, I want you to watch the girl that hands off the baton to her. When I tell you she's a special kind of slow, not like slow, but she's slow. Her handoff is wrong. She's tired as hell when she does the handoff. Nothing about this girl who hands off the baton to Zaya is right. But when I tell you she makes lemons out of lemonade, they are 4 seconds behind. Those of y'all who run track, y'all know that's damn near a death sentence. They are 4 seconds behind when she gets this baton. But when I tell you baby girl handled it, y'all just got to watch it. It gets me hyped. Just watch this. Look at the whack handoff. The handoff pisses me off so bad.
Jackie, you're muted. Oh, never mind.
No,
I think just that other audio came over. I ran track and I was the anchor, and you should not have to look backwards for that handoff.
She had to turn her whole damn near. I'm supposed to be in my stride, put my hand back, and you're supposed to pop it in there while I'm mid-stride so I can just take off. Now I got to make up for the fact that you're slow and you don't know how to hand the baton off. And now we can play the audio because the announcer is getting hyped because he realizes, oh, girl has just passed the girl who was 4 seconds ahead of her, and she's about to take the lead. You can turn the audio back on.
Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State. Zaya Holman from Norway. And Michigan is going to win the women's 4x4.
Now she's already set a record already. So when somebody look, Devin says she's running from 2020 like fast. Out of 2020 into 2021. That was the dopest. She's running from Michigan. That whole video hyped me up because y'all, I used to do the first leg, so I was kind of fast. Britt would have been stupid dumb fast. That's the girl who you have on the end, y'all. So that girl in the middle, though, me and Britt would have had to have words with her at the end of that meet because she can't ever again.
No.
Oh, that was so embarrassing. All right, that's all I've got for the post-up. What we not going to do is going to be kind of quick, guys, because it's literally just y'all in the chat, Devin and Britt, of course. I need you guys to help me make this make sense because I do not understand. I need it to make sense. So if you don't remember, back in July of 2020, because of the social movement and the things that was going on with the marches and Black Lives Matter, a lot of racist statues were coming down. A lot of Confederate flags were coming down. A lot of slave owners that had statues in this country, those were coming down. And that pissed off Donald Trump. It pissed him off so much so that he said, you know what? I need to create a place where these people can be basically, held to a higher standard. There are the heroes of our country. He said, quote, we need these statues to reflect the awesome splendor of our country's timeless exceptionalism. Belief in the greatness and goodness of America has come under attack in recent months and years by dangerous anti-American extremists that seek to decimate our country's history, institutions, and very identity. So that is what he thought about people around the country really being vocal about ending the Confederate flag, because we know that's a symbol of racism, and then taking down statues that were a symbol of that as well. So in his dying presidential moment, literally at the 11th hour, he decides to do this executive order for what's called the National Garden. And he said in the National Garden, these statues were going to go in there, is basically what he said. But then he names his 200, I don't mean to laugh, but it's funny. He named his 200 names that are actually going to get statues. And y'all, when I tell you this list does not make an ounce of sense, obviously I'm not going to give you all 200 names, but I'm going to tell you the ones that are on there. Alex Trebek. You guys remember Alex Trebek? He's the man that we loved all so much from Jeopardy, who passed away. Alex Trebek is on there. Whitney Houston is on there. The person that surprised me the most, though, is a woman named Hannah Arnett. Now, if you guys don't know her, don't be mad. I'm not mad at you either, because when I saw her name, I had to go look her up. But she wrote tons and tons of political books that basically talk about people like Donald Trump and how they're horrible and they should never come to power, and if they come to power, what this means. But he's giving her a statue. He's giving Muhammad Ali a statue, who definitely stood against everything that this man's about. And this is what I found blasphemous. We are just 6 days away from being at the 1-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant. And that was so impactful to all of us here in LA and around the world. And that is a day that's going to be difficult for us. And he decides to throw Kobe Bryant's name in there. What we're not going to do is pretend like Kobe Bryant would have been cool with you, because I just don't see that happening. I don't understand why he would throw Kobe's name in there, Muhammad Ali's name in there. Whitney probably wouldn't care either way. She'd be like, oh, statue, cool. But I just don't understand why he threw all these names in there of these people that would not align with his views. Like, what is he trying to say? I don't know. Help me make it make sense for those of y'all in the chat. Devin, I'm going to go to you. Do you think, well, since Kobe's not here to represent, obviously, do you think that Vanessa will be like, oh, yay, Trump is giving my husband a statue? Do you think she would co-sign on this?
I certainly hope she would not co-sign on it, and I don't think that she would. I think a Kobe statue is something that should happen, but somewhere else. It doesn't need to be tied to Trump's presidency. Trump did absolutely nothing for the Black community, and I'm sure Kobe would have been speaking out about all of the awful things that he did in the last year. So I feel like Vanessa is definitely not going to co-sign on this. And luckily, since Trump's presidency is over, it's going to be up to President Biden to decide if he wants to go through with this. So let's hope that Biden does the right thing here, which I think he will.
And that leads me to my question for you, Britt, because that's what every political analyst on the planet is scratching their head about this one, because they're saying this is never going to even get built. What was his end game of even doing this in the 11th hour?
He was trying to attach his name to something great and a lot of great people. Like, obviously, those people are very likable, most of the people that were mentioned. And he's trying to attach his name to that in some kind of article, because he knows obviously it's going to make news, and people are now talking about Kobe Bryant and him in the same conversation, and Muhammad Ali and him in the same conversation, and his ego wanted that. So I hope it, honestly, now that it's being obviously transferred to Biden, I hope maybe Biden does consider doing something cool like that in, the name of the United States, not in Trump, So I still hope something like that gets to be done. I think it would be a cool thing to go visit once everything's open again. And, we've seen, I remember when the Martin Luther King Jr. statue was first built in Washington, I got to go see that. And, just connecting and getting to see little stuff like that gets on way past all of our lifetimes, I think is really cool. But I think Trump was just trying to attach his name to something great. It failed, as per usual, like we all know he's still a bad person. I mean, the one great thing Trump did do during his career as a president was when he pardoned my great-great-uncle, Jack Johnson. I was like, oh, great, cool. That was an amazing thing you did. But I still don't like you. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's trying to get people to like him again. And now that he knows he'll never be able to be president again because he was impeached twice, he's like, oh, well, now let me try to get the favor of the public, since I'm going to be going back out into the public world. And now, because he was impeached twice, he doesn't get the Secret Service, he doesn't get the pension from being a president, he doesn't get to run again. Like, he's like, oh wow, now I already pissed off a lot of people, so let me try to gain back some of those likes and friendships lost over my time as president of this country.
Well, that makes a little bit more sense, because when I saw this, I was like, my guy, you've been impeached. Like, what? Why are you even signing things? Shouldn't you be looking for a lease, like an apartment somewhere? Like, what are you even doing right now? So
Trump
that's
Towers.
what we're not. Right, yeah. Trump Towers ain't that you filed for bankruptcy on, but
he's the only person that lives there now, so everybody moved out.
I agree 100% with Devin. Like, a statue for Kobe is definitely warranted, and I wouldn't even object to several statues of Kobe, because obviously it's not just us here in LA who felt that loss. So I wouldn't object to there being more than one statue of Kobe, or a statue of Kobe in Washington. I just don't want it attached to Trump's name. That's all I got. So that's all I got for what we're not gonna do. Let me get my girl Devin up here, because y'all know what time it is. You don't. That was a long delay. Because now for Britt's take.
Britt's takes.
All right, guys, this version of Britt's Takes today is going to be Brit's takeaways from the Tiger documentary. So it's kind of like a Tiger take, I guess. I told you guys yesterday I watched finale of the Tiger documentary, which has gotten a lot of criticism because it's been so negative. It's for Tiger Woods, and like I'm sure Tiger clearly didn't co-sign on it. Like this was very different from The Last Dance that kind of, highlighted Michael Jordan's career, but Michael Jordan was also comfortable with it, saying the negative stuff about his career, and it kind of was like an all-encompassing thing. Well, this Tiger documentary is definitely not something that Tiger Woods put a stamp on because it was very negative. Nobody that was worth any part of Tiger's life now was in it. They have no current people that are currently tied to Tiger Woods in it. So I kind of just wanted to, if you haven't watched it yet, I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything in this. So I do recommend you guys watch it. It is on HBO. No, I'm not getting a plug for this from this. I wish I was. But HBO, yeah, if you want to hit me up for doing this little plug and little review for you guys, call me. But the Tiger documentary actually kind of changed the way I looked at Tiger. I'm not as bad as Jackie. I know Jackie really doesn't like Tiger Woods. I was kind of like on the fence about Tiger. Like I'm just like, like whatever, like he didn't really, like I'm not going to like hate somebody because they cheated on their wife. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like I consider sport from cheating. Like that's not that big of a deal to me. But then obviously there were other things about, him not really being accepted of being labeled an African American when he is only a quarter black and Vietnamese and white and all these other things or whatever. So that kind of stuff is like, oh, Tiger, come on, like just you don't see Kamala Harris saying like, nope, guys, I am not the first black vice president. Call me that, like obviously she is very proud of both of her heritages, but when people say African American vice president, she doesn't tell them no. Not, which Tiger did. So I get why people have this stigma when it comes to Tiger Woods, but this documentary honestly changed my mind. So a few things to point out on my Brit's takeaways from the Tiger documentary is, number one, he just wanted to play golf. Like much like Michael Jordan, he really didn't want to be this savior of golf for black people. Tiger actually spent the majority of his life being this outcast. When he was young and even a few years before he won the Masters, he was put in he was not even allowed to play at a lot of golf clubs because it allow black people, even till the point of it right before he won. Like he literally was not allowed to play in these golf courses because until the mid 90s, there were still golf courses or golf clubs that did not allow black people in them. Yes, the mid 90s, even to the late 90s. So and then being a guy that like, what other major golfers can you name that were black before Tiger and like that did all of this stuff? He was kind of like going into this thing by himself. He was surrounded by really majority white people, and he was very young, so he just kind of wanted, like we all kind of do when we're young, we just want to fit in. We don't want to, at that age, we don't want to be like, I'm different from everybody else I hang out with, and he wanted to be like everybody else and be with everybody else. Secondly, I think his dad saw this bigger dream and wanted Tiger to be this like Messiah, and this like his dad always would say he's going to be the greatest coming since Jesus or whatever, and bringing people together. And his dad really saw Tiger as this person that would be able to finally connect the black community and the white, because Tiger was going to gain this large white fan base and then bring black people to golf, which is what happened at the beginning. But then when Tiger went on Oprah and Oprah asked him about if he liked being called African American, he said, no, I like to be whatever it was Calabash, because he was like Cambodian and black and Asian or whatever it was that he had said. And that turned the black community away. Because black people, if we see a black person doing great in something, we are all supporting them. We act like, oh, that was my best friend since I was a kid. Like we know each other. Like the black people are always going to help each other or support each other when they are coming up everybody was behind Bubba Wallace. Every black person in this country was behind Bubba Wallace after the Bubba Wallace stuff happened. Like, that's just how the black community does, because a lot of times it is way more difficult for black people to get to a level, which is why when we do, we support each other. And he lost the black community because in that moment they were like all about him, and then he said that and they're like, oh, you think he's black? Okay. Which, as a mixed person, I understood what he was trying to say in that moment. Like, he didn't want to take from what his mom was and whatever, because people don't look at me and just, I don't look black a lot of times to people, but I am black as white, you know. And when people ask, yeah, I do have white stuff that I got from my white side of the family and stuff I got from the black side of my family. So I don't like want to say I'm just one or the other. But if the society looking at it, even though people think I look Hispanic all the time, but I look like a minority. People are never going to be like, oh, that's a white girl. Nobody's ever going to think I'm white, you know? So Tiger's ever going to think you're white. So people, you were kicked out of the clubs and not allowed in clubs because you were black. But anyways, speaking of Jordan, Tiger also hung out with MJ and like Charles Barkley a lot in Vegas, and a VIP host said Tiger was a bit of a geek and really wanted to fit in with Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley. So this is now where we insert Tiger turning into a hoe. So Tiger literally was hanging out with Michael and Charles, and when he first started hanging out with them, he was kind of just sitting in the corner by himself. And then obviously if you're hanging out with Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley in Vegas all the time, you're about to get some action and start, you know, being this other type of guy. And also he saw his dad and his dad's friend, you know, cheating on their wives all the time, and they were always looking at blonde women on the golf course. And Tiger saw this as a very little kid, because he always said his dad was his best friend. He grew up around his dad, and he would see his dad kind of like go into their Winnebago on the golf course and bring these blonde girls in there. So Tiger kind of started that same thing that his dad did. You know, a lot of times guys, you know, mimic what their fathers are doing. Next, this is very important. Elin, his wife, ex-wife, is not an angel. So after she and Tiger divorced, like everyone's like, oh, she never wanted this limelight and she never wanted to date rich people. And we know she got somewhere between $150 to $100 million from divorce. And after that, she goes and dates this billionaire, really old white guy. And I was like very confused. Well, I'm like, if she wasn't a girl that's into limelight and doesn't like money, and now she has her own $150 million, why is she now dating this really old billionaire guy who definitely is not a guy she looks like would be attracted to, definitely doesn't look anything like Tiger Woods. You know, everybody has a type. If that was her type, why is she now dating this old billionaire guy who I'm not going to like talk bad about, because he actually passed away randomly in a crash last year with his daughter. No, I'm not talking about Kobe Bryant, but it was another same situation. It was a helicopter crash. His daughter and 3 of her friends were in the helicopter, and they passed away. And she ended up having a baby recently with Jordan Cameron, who is years younger than her. And he was, if you guys know Jordan Cameron, he played in the NFL. So she like has attached herself to these other guys as well. Then he is literally to the public being made to seem like she's just this innocent girl that didn't want anything to do with Tiger's life and didn't ever like the line, didn't even like Tiger in the beginning, but eventually was like swooned into talking to him. I don't believe that for 1 second. So let's not make her like a huge victim in this situation, because she's not. And thirdly or fourthly, he's a beast. I literally forget how much of a beast Tiger Woods is. He not only won, obviously, he's won 15 titles or whatever, but he won the UN with a broken leg. He actually had 2 fractures in his leg before the U.S. Open even began. He still competed in it and won. He was training with Navy SEALs all the time. Then after the fact, when he was told he's never going to play again and his knees were too messed up and He completely got back surgery just to be able to walk again and jog a little bit again. He came back and won the Masters. Like, so can we not take away from the fact that Tiger Woods is such a beast? Like, he has done so many dope things, and I don't think career is over yet. Like, I think he is like literally this, like, he is a legend, obviously. And then last but not least, what I got most documentary is he has sellout crappy friends. Every single person in this documentary was like, yeah, well, you know, I shouldn't be saying this. Tiger would be so mad at me, but let me tell you guys this. And they literally would go in and say the dumbest things. Like, one of the girls was like, oh, Tiger, like, he used to like scuba diving, and it really worried me. Like, why would you want to be out in the deep, dark sea among the fish? That was really weird. Like, what? You're trying to make him feel stupid because he scuba dived? Like, stop it. Tiger doesn't associate with any of these people. The only person that was even saying good stuff about Tiger or didn't tell all his business was this guy that was a black guy, and he was a friend of their father's, and he was the only one that didn't say negative stuff. Every other person was just this money-hungry, sellout person that I'm like, Tiger, honestly, if you would have maybe had more black friends growing up, you wouldn't have little people like coming for you and saying all this crappy stuff because they were never your friends in the first place. But I say all that to say, I like Tiger Woods now. You know, this documentary set out to make Tiger look like a monster, and I actually became more a fan of Tiger Woods from watching this because I really just saw all the sellout people around him and the crappy energy he had around him, and now understand why a lot of the things that happened to him went down as they did. Jackie, I know you are not a huge fan of Tiger, but are you going to watch this documentary? And do you think your mind could be changed about Tiger Woods?
I'm definitely going to watch it. I, regardless of my personal views on Tiger Woods, I think he is a beast when it comes to golfing. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm rooting for everybody. Every time he gets on the golf course, I'm rooting for him. But I still wag my finger at him, you know, behind closed doors. I just try to, you know, I try not to bash him too much in public.
You'll understand him more, I think, when you watch it.
I probably will, but it also won't change the understanding of, because I covered this story a couple years ago when I was out of the country, to the guy in the chat that said I ain't never been out of the country. But when I was living overseas, golf was kind of coming over there, and because they usually just play soccer over there, or football, yeah. Sorry. So they were starting to talk about golf, and they kind of idolized, you know, Tiger Woods. But I had said, all right, so when Tiger first came into the game as a child, he was on Oprah, and he told Oprah that he took on this challenge of desegregating some of these golf courses immensely. Like, that was a responsibility that he felt as a black man. That's what he said when he was on Oprah the very first time. The next time he's on Oprah, now he got some money. He didn't hang out with all these white folks playing golf. Now it's like, you know what? I ain't black. And I don't know, Tiger. I just can't mess with you like that. So, but I'm definitely going to watch it. You can't hate on the fact that he's definitely good at what he does, and that's a name that's going to be synonymous with golf forever and ever. So I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, thank you guys all. Check it out. Let me know what you think, and let us know in the comments. Do you think Tiger Woods' career is done, or will we see him win a U.S. Open or Masters or one of these other ones anytime in the near future? Let us know what you guys think on that. But that is Britt's take away from the Tiger documentary.
Thank you, Britt. I'm definitely going to check it out. I don't know that I would have voluntarily selected that as something to watch until you talked about it and you were pushing it so much. So now I'm
now. Thank you. Clear doing movie reviews.
Yeah, you should. All right, you guys, well, let's wrap up this show for the day. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, leave a comment below, share this video with your friends. Of course, wash your hands and wear a mask. And remember, if you're triggered by the conversations that we have on this show, don't watch. Bye, everybody. Bye.